Hello YouTube people, let's get straight into this because I want to make it a quick video. Those two dials that you see on your combi boiler, what are they? What do they do? Good question. Now this video is inspired by my mum because I was round her gaff recently and she asked the very same question. And in summary, one of the dials controls the hot water temperature flowing through your radiators and the other dial controls the hot water temperature flowing through your taps, your bath and your shower, etc. And I guess the next thing you want to ask me is, Melvin, what is the optimal temperature to set for my radiators and my hot water supply? And that's a very good question. Well done you. Unfortunately, like life, there is no simple answer, so I'm going to try and dumb it down and Melvinize it for you as much as possible. Now you've probably seen on your combi boiler that the temperature dial relating to the hot water flowing through your radiators has an eco setting on there, and it's usually set around 60 or 65 degrees. Most people and manufacturers would simply recommend you leave it on the eco setting because it's the most economical and energy efficient setting for your system. However, I like to differ and piss about with stuff. And I'm not going to try and get all scientific here because there's so much online reference material out there that can explain this so much better than I ever will. But in a nutshell, it uses less energy and therefore costs less to heat water to a lower temperature. Yeah, I know, right? Just sounds obvious. Hold up a minute. What I actually mean by this is if you heat water from 45 degrees to 60 degrees in your combi boiler versus heating water from 60 to 75 degrees, despite there being a 15 degrees variance in both scenarios, it's actually the 45 to 60 that uses less energy and costs you less. So now that I've dropped that bombshell, you're probably thinking to yourself, well, if I turn down that dial as low as it can go, I'll save myself a fortune on my energy bills. Hold on a minute mate, hold on a minute. Let's talk about this first. So that hot water temperature flowing through your radiators, if you set it too low, it's going to take a lot longer to heat up your rooms and surrounding areas, especially in the winter. On the flip side, if you set it really high, let's say 85 degrees for example, then yeah, your rads are going to be El Scorchio and your room's going to get hotter a lot quicker and you'll reach that threshold you set on your thermostat in a much faster time. However, it's going to use a lot more energy, which is going to cost you more, and if you've got kids and vulnerable people in the home, then it can actually be quite dangerous to set your radiators at such a high temperature. Most of us have a smart meter nowadays, and what I personally did several winters back to test this theory was I waited for a stretch of about 3 days where I knew the outside temperature was going to be relatively consistent. I set my indoor thermostat at 18, 19 degrees as I normally do, but on day one, I set the hot water temperature flowing to the radiators at 50 degrees, on day 2 I set it to 60 degrees, and then on day 3 I set it to 75 degrees. Over the course of those 3 days I was running around like a nutter, touching all of the radiators to see how hot they were getting, assessing the comfort levels and how quickly the rooms were heating up, and then finally taking all of the costing and usage data to see what the financial damage was. And my findings were, the higher it goes, the more it costs, and quite significantly. So currently I have my boiler set at 60 degrees, which coincidentally is the eco setting. At the end of the day, it's a balancing act between comfort and cost, so I suggest you do exactly what I did, test it and see what works for you. So the next dial to talk about is the hot water temperature that's going to your taps and your sinks and your baths and your showers, etc. Which, to be honest with you, I think is a lot more straightforward and simpler to explain. I'll give you an example. You've got the hot water temperature flowing to your taps set at 70 degrees on your boiler. You go to do some washing up, you turn on the hot water tap, it's way too hot, so you turn on a load of cold water. What is the point? You are basically heating water up to a temperature only then to cool it down, which is wasting you energy and money. There's this myth out there that you need to have the hot water running to your taps and showers, etc. set at 65 or 70 degrees to combat and kill Legionella's disease. If you've got a combi boiler, that isn't the case. It may well be the case if you've got an external or hot water tank, but if you've got a combi boiler, you don't need to have it set that high. Again, you're using excess energy because you're unnecessarily heating the water to a too high a temperature, only then to mix it with loads of cold to get it to a comfortable level. Personally, I have mine set at 50 degrees and that's a nice balance for me. So I hope this video has helped explain a few things for you, and if it has done, kindly give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see some more. But until next time, thank you so much for watching. Look after yourselves. Hopefully, I'll see you very soon. Bye for now, people.